So in the previous video we talked about the focal seizure. So focal seizure are basically two types. Three types. They are basically focal seizure with intact awareness, with impaired awareness, and it was the third generalized secondary generalization. So let's discuss that what is the focal seizure with intact awareness first. So let's see the focal seizure with intact awareness. So as the name says that the awareness is totally intact. So actually the patient of the focal seizure with intact awareness were previously called simple partial seizure. So they were known as patient of the simple partial seizure. What happens basically, there will be sudden involuntary movement of the muscles in the hand, face or any part of the body. So you can see in this picture that this person is having the some sudden involuntary movement in his face, I know. So there can be the twitching movement in the face, or there can be sudden voluntary movement in the hand, and which will be noticed by the person itself. The person himself or herself notices that I have having such kind of involuntary movements, and he will try to control that. And but he will certainly that he will not able to control that kind of movements. So he will actually come to you at last, and the person is totally aware. There is no loss of any kind of the loss of consciousness is present, and there will be no any kind of aura also. So this is simply the patient will have the sudden involuntary movement at any part of the body, either hand, face or legs, at any part. Okay, and the awareness is also present. So the mechanism is very simple. Let's suppose this is the brain, and now this is a, let's suppose this is a motor cortex. Let's suppose this is a motor cortex, and this is the area of leg, and the disturbance or electrical abnormality occurs at this leg area. Then the person will have the sudden involuntary movement at his leg, but there will be no any other problem. So such type of thing can be seen in case of the focal seizure with intact awareness, also known as simple partial seizure. Now let's see that, let us suppose this is actually the brain, and let's suppose ki this area is a motor cortex, and let's suppose ki this is a leg area and this is a head area. Let us suppose that you have actually the problem started in the head area. So initially the problem or the disturbance is actually on the head area, and due to which the patient was actually moving his head. So let's suppose this is a patient, so he is actually moving his heads here and here. So initially the patient will tell you that I was having only problem in the head. Now what happens, he is having the problem in his face, he is having problem in his legs, his shoulders, and later in legs also. It means that initially he was having problem in his head. Now he is actually having his problem in the face area. So there is now face, initially problem was in head area, due to which he was moving his head. So sudden involuntary movement of head, and we will call it as that it is a focal seizure with intact awareness. We will call it as a focal seizure with intact awareness. But later what he says, ki after some month he was having the problem in his face muscles. So he was having problem in the face muscles, and later he tell you that now I have a problem that I have a sudden involuntary movement in the shoulder also. And now he is telling that not only shoulder, now he has sudden involuntary movement in the leg also. So now at last leg also. So you can see that this problem started in the head area, now it has raised up to the leg area. So such type of movement, that the problem started initially from a focal point, but now it has generalized to whole body. This actually movement is known as Jacksonian movement. Such type of movement is known as Jacksonian movement. What movement? Jacksonian movements. So what is Jacksonian movement? That Jacksonian movement is a kind of movement where the person initially has the problem in a particular area or in a particular part of the body, but now that has progressed to the whole body or half of the body. It is on progressing. So such type of movement is known as Jacksonian movement, that the problem started from the head, now it has reached the leg. So this is Jacksonian movement. Another thing is what, once the attack is over, so let us suppose he has having attack in his shoulder and his face today, and let's suppose ki now the attack is over. So once attack is over, then what happens? Then he will feel a kind of weakness, or he will feel like I have no power in my affected area where the attack has been happened. So once attack has happened, he will feel like the powerless. So there will be decreased power in that area, in affected area, you can say. Affected area means that area that area which was involved in the seizure. So that area will have decreased power once the attack is over, and this weakness will persist for at least 12 to 24 hours. So will persist for 12 hours to 24 hours. So you should consider this in mind. And such type of paralysis has a given a special name, that is known as Toad's palsy. So such type of paralysis is not a total paralysis. Such type of weakness is known as Toad's palsy. What is Toad's palsy? So you have studied two terms, Jacksonian movement and Toad's palsy. So when the problem actually started in the focal area, I mean the problem started in one particular area, and now it has progressed to the whole body by the Jacksonian movement. Now it is actually in the whole body. So such type of seizure is known as secondary generalization. See, actually secondary generalization is a type of progressive form of focal seizure. So I have already said you that the focal seizure were three types: intact awareness, impaired awareness, and the secondary generalization. So what we talked about the Jacksonian movement and Toad's palsy, basically seen in the secondary generalization, that the problem initially started in a particular area, now it has reached to the whole body, and we will actually get confused if the patient come very late. We will get confused that the person is having the GTCS, generalized tonic-clonic seizure, or the secondary generalization. Why? That is very simple, that when a person comes to you in very late condition, then he will have the symptom in whole body. Then you may confuse that he is having generalized tonic-clonic seizure or he is having secondary generalization. So both have a very basic difference. So let's study the difference between the generalized tonic-clonic seizure and secondary generalization. So in generalized tonic-clonic seizure patient, basically the patient will not tell you that I have no history of focal seizure. So he will not tell you that I was having problem in the head or face muscle or in the hands or in the legs. That will not tell you. So GTCS patient will not tell you like that. But secondary generalized patient will have history of the focal seizure. So he will tell you that initially I was having the seizure in one part of the body, later it progresses. So like that history they will tell you. And the thing that the GTCS patient will have no aura. So there will be no aura in case of the generalized tonic-clonic seizure. But the secondary generalized patient will have the aura with them. So what is aura? So the aura can be a kind of a smell. So before the seizure will come, they will feel a kind of a smell. The smell can be of the kerosene-like. So smell can be of the kerosene-like, or the smell can be of the burning rubber. So somebody is burning the rubber, but actually nobody is burning. So but they will feel, or they will feel the zigzag lines in front of them. So zigzag lines in front, or they will actually feel the white flashes. So white flashes coming in front of the eyesight, white flashes, or any kind of warning sign will be there, so that the patient will know that I will have now the seizure before the seizure happens. So there will be something warning sign, that is known as aura. So that will be present in the secondary generalization, that will not be present in the generalized tonic-clonic seizure, and that's how we rule out that he is having secondary generalization or generalized tonic-clonic seizure. There are two more phenomena. That we will see in the patient of the secondary generalization. So in the patient of secondary generalization, we will see the two more phenomena. They are deja vu phenomena. So I think everybody knew this word, deja vu phenomena, and there is another word that is known as Jamia vu phenomena. So Jamia's vu phenomena and deja vu phenomena. What is deja vu phenomena? So the patient will be actually tell you that the patient family will tell you that this patient is having unfamiliar, so unknown person looks very familiar. So the unknown person, so if any person is unknown and if he is looking very familiar to you, then all time that cannot be the incarnation relationship. That may be that you have a deja vu phenomena. So such type of phenomenon can be seen in the secondary generalization, that the unknown person looks very familiar. What is Jamia vu? Sometimes what happens, the very known person, so very known, let's suppose any family member. So any family member is actually looks unfamiliar. So let's suppose that the patient brother looks very unfamiliar. So that brother will tell you that initially he used to talk to me very nicely, but nowadays he used to ignore me. Then you may think, I was thinking that why he is doing to me like this. I was in tension, but actually he was having Jamia's vu. That is a part of secondary generalization. So yes, these things can be seen in case of the secondary generalization. So in EEG, you can easily see in this picture that in EEG you can see that the waves are altered in only some of the leads. So if the waves are altered in only some of the leads, then we will call it as a focal seizure. But if the waves will be altered in every leads, then we will call it as a generalized tonic-clonic seizure. Now we will see the focal seizure with impaired awareness. So basically, focal seizure with impaired awareness means you are having the focal seizure. It means you are having the problem in any particular part of the body. But now what happens, that you are not conscious about your problem. So there is a unawareness. So a very common term used in this condition, that is automatism. So automatism means that let's suppose, for example, the person is actually smacking his lips. So he is smacking his lips. So smacking his lips means simply he is licking his own lips. Smacking lips matlab he is actually licking his own lips, or he will actually do the movement like he is swallowing anything, or he will do movement like that he is actually chewing anything in his mouth, or sometime he will actually laugh very loud. So laugh very loud, or he will actually cry very harder. So he will cry or scream without anything. And if you will ask that person that what you are doing, he will tell you, I am not doing anything. It means what? Whatever is happening to him, that he is unaware about his problem. So that kind of the principle, that kind of the problem is known as automatism. So this automatism is seen in the patient with the impaired awareness. So that's why we tell that focal seizure with impaired awareness is actually that problem where the patient will not tell you that I have this problem. There the patient party will tell you that my patient has the behavior of the smacking his lips, or he is swallowing something but he is not actually swallowing something, or he will do in chewing type of movements, or he will actually laugh unnecessarily, or he will actually cry unnecessarily. But if you ask him that why you are doing so, he will tell you that I do not do anything. So that kind of things will be seen in case of the focal seizure with impaired awareness. And yes, once the attack is over, so there will be post-ictal confusion. So post-ictal confusion. So the post-ictal confusion means that he is actually not, if you will ask him that why you is smacking his lips, then he will tell you that I don't know, I was smacking or not. So that is known as post-ictal confusion. So yes, there is a post-ictal means the attack. So after the attack, he will look very confused. Another thing, there will be anterograde amnesia. Anterograde amnesia. So what is anterograde amnesia? Anterograde amnesia means there is short-term memory loss. Short-term memory loss. That he will not have any kind of memory that what he was doing a minute before, or so he was not having that type of memory. So there is short-term memory loss, and there will be actually transient deficit. So transient deficit. So this transient deficit can be aphasia, that you will sometime what happens that you will ask the patient that you want to take any food, then he will remain silent. If you will ask him that you want any food to eat, or you want to go somewhere, then he will not tell you anything. So there will be transient deficit in some patients. That is known as aphasia. The patient will not speak anything, but yes, once the attack is over, the patient will tell you that I don't know that what you are telling. I didn't heard any kind of sound. So that kind of thing may be seen in the patient of the impaired awareness. And in here also, in EEG, you will see that only some waves are having the disturbance, or we can say that the only some waves, only the waves in some leads are altered, not all the leads are altered. In the generalized seizure, we already discussed about the generalized tonic-clonic seizure. Now we will see what is absence seizure. So basically, I will tell you first the two things, that absence seizure are two types. That is a typical absence seizure, and there is a atypical absence seizure. So let's start. What is a typical absence seizure? Then we will know what is atypical absence seizure. So friends, in first thing I want to tell you that the typical absence seizure is a type of generalized seizure. So you should consider in the mind that it is a type of generalized seizure. But as you know, first of all know the two terms, that is tonic and clonic. So as you already studied in the generalized tonic-clonic seizure, that tonic means there is increased tone, and clonic means there is a there will be sudden jerky movements in the body, So why this seizure is known as absent seizure? As the tonic and clonic both are absent. So this tonic and clonic both are absent. That's why this seizure is known as what seizure? Absent seizure. So if anyone will tell you that why the absent seizure is called as absence, either the person is absent in the seizure? No. Actually, the tonic and clonic movements are actually absent in the case of absent seizure. But yes, there will be the loss of consciousness will be present for 1 or 2 seconds. There will be loss of consciousness will be present for 1 and 2 seconds, that the patient may not notice, or the other person also may not notice. Why they will not notice? Though there is a loss of consciousness, it is because of the fact that there will be no loss of postural tone. So it means what? That the person postural tone will be still intact. The person postural tone will be still intact, and due to which they will not fall. And we have a very common thing that if someone fall, then we think that there is a problem. But if someone do not fall, then we think, oh, there is no problem with that person. So it apparently look very normal. So that's how what take place in the case of the typical absence seizure. That a patient of the typical absence seizure will have a present postural tone. Yes, the loss of consciousness occur, but that also occur very short time, 1 or 2 seconds. Hardly finishes. Just you are blinking the eyes 5-6 times. So in that short time, in that short time only the loss of consciousness is present, and there will be no loss of postural tone. The such type of thing occur in the typical absence seizure. So you will tell me that what kind of symptom will be there that the patient will come that the patient of absence seizure will come. he has no any tonic movement, he has no any clonic movement, his loss of consciousness also is not actually evident. But yes, the patient party will tell you that my patient is actually dead dreamer. My patient is actually dead dreamer. So they will tell you the history that if I ask him for anything, he will not reply anything. He will just stare at me, or he will just stare at something else, but he will not reply anything more than that. If I ask him that do you want to take any food, or do you want to go somewhere, then he will not talk anything for a short time. So he will just stare vacantly, will not do anything for a particular point of time, as the fact that the loss of consciousness is for 1 or 2 seconds. So he will not talk totally to you for that particular time. He will just stare vacantly to you, and you may think that he is actually disobeying me, or he is actually not listening to my information. So that kind of complaint can be given by the patient party, and there will be no any kind of the post ictal defecate. So there will be no any post-ictal defecate. It means that after the attack is over, usually the person forgets and he thinks that where I am I in the hospital, or I am in the home? So patient get confused. Like in the generalized tonic-clonic seizure, once the attack is over, the patient will be in the unconsciousness form. He will not aware that where he is, or so awareness is absent in that time in the generalized tonic-clonic seizure. So that is, we will call in generalized tonic-clonic seizure, we call that there will be post-ictal defecate is present. Post-ictal defecate is present. That is after the attack is over. Ictal means attack. So once the attack is over, the patient will still feel that he is not knowing anything. He is unaware about what has happened to him, or he will not actually know the person around him. So that kind of symptom will be in the generalized tonic-clonic seizure. But in the case of typical absence seizure, there will be no any post-ictal defecate. Once the attack is over, he is able to know that where he is, who are actually in front of him, what he is doing. He will know everything. So there is no any post-ictal defecate. So we can say the post-ictal defecate is absent. The absence seizure is actually found in the children of 4 to 10 years of age. 4 to 10 years of age found in the children, and it is very hard to diagnose the typical absence seizure by the history only. So for the confirmation of the diagnosis, we will actually look for the EEG. So we will look for the EEG, and also we will actually try to trigger the absence seizure in them. So how we will trigger the absence seizure? So let's see. So we will tell the patient to hyperventilate. So we will tell the patient to hyperventilate, or we will actually give the photic stimulation. Photic stimulation. What is photic stimulation? That we will actually on the torchlight on his face. We will actually on the torchlight on his face, and due to the extreme light on his face, he will have the absence seizure. Or if he will hyperventilate, then the absence seizure will precipitate, or it will get triggered. So how will we know that the absence seizure has triggered? So very simple. We will tell the patient to actually hyperventilate, or we will tell the patient we will actually flash the light of torch on his face, and in that time we will actually record the EEG. And EEG, what we will see a specific pattern that in leads, we will see that the slow spike wave, and that is having the frequency of 3 per second. It means there is a 3 Hertz. So there is actually 3 waves per second. So there is a 1, 2, 3. So the 3 wave has actually taken 1 second. So such type of wave is known as slow spike wave. And as you can see in this picture, there is a slow spike wave. And you should know that the person of the absence seizure, the attack come usually more than 100 times a day. So the attack is very frequent. Attack is very frequent and can occur more than 100 times per day. And the person will actually, at that time when the attack is coming, so that time the loss of consciousness occur, and the loss of consciousness lasts for, I said you, 1 to 2 seconds. So that for that 1 to 2 seconds, whatever he was doing at that time, he will stop the ongoing activity. So at that time he will actually stop ongoing activity. Let's suppose ki the person was dancing, and once the attack come, he will actually stop the dance. So that how you will know and that the attack has came. Yes, the recurrent attack of absence seizure has got a very special name. This is an MCQ question. The recurrent attack of absence seizure had got a special name that is known as pycnolepsy. Pycnolepsy. So what is pycnolepsy? Pycnolepsy is the recurrent attack of the absence seizure, and this is a MCQ question. In typical absence seizure, the problem will be just like the absence seizure, but why it is known as atypical? The reason was that the loss of consciousness in the typical absence seizure was 1 to 2 seconds. In the typical absence seizure, the loss of consciousness was for 1 to 2 seconds. But in case of the atypical absence seizure, the loss of consciousness lasts for greater than 2 seconds. So the loss of consciousness is now greater than 2 seconds in case of atypical absence seizure. And the thing in the typical absence seizure, we saw that there was a very known that the frequency of the waves were 3 per second. So that is 3 hertz. So 3 hertz was a very peculiar feature of the typical absence seizure. And but in case of the atypical absence seizure, in EEG, there will be less than 2.5 hertz waves. So the waves will be of the less than 2.5 hertz and known as slow spike wave pattern. So this is very peculiar that in atypical absence seizure, there will be less than 2.5 hertz, or we can say some books says less than 3 hertz. But basically you have to know that to differentiate between the atypical seizure, atypical absence and absence is simply that if it is exactly equal to 3, then that is actually absence seizure, typical absence seizure. But if it's less than 3, then that is actually atypical absence seizure. And usually the atypical absence seizure is actually associated with a syndrome that is known as Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. And usually the child is mentally retarded in this condition. So there will be mental retardation in child, and the parent will tell you that the performance of my child is very weak, so there will be decreased performance in the class. Some people will tell you, his teachers may tell you that he is not listening to what we are saying. So he just remain in the class like a statue. He is not going with his friends to play. So the child is mentally retarded in case of atypical absence seizure. So the last seizure we talk about in generalized seizure is atonic seizure. As the name tells, there is a atonicity in the body, that there will be decreased tone in the body, and due to the decreased tone there will be loss of postural tone, and due to the loss of postural tone the person will fall. So person fall on the ground when the attack comes. And you can say that if the person is sitting, then there will be the history that his head drops. So as you can see in this figure, the head drops, or you can see that the head is nodding. So nodding head. Yes, and in this seizure also there will be no post-ictal defecate, that there will be no any kind of loss of consciousness once the attack is over. So once the attack is over, the patient will be aware of his surroundings. There will be no any kind of defecate once the attack is over. So there will be no post-ictal defecate. Only the problem is that the person will suddenly fall, and due to the decreased tone. And if he is standing, he will fall. If he is sitting, his head will drop, or he will nod his head. as the person head drops in case of the atonic seizure, this seizure is also known as drop seizure. This seizure is also known as drop seizure, and usually the attack remain for almost less than, so the duration of attack is less than 15 seconds. So up to 10 or 5 to 10 seconds, the person will actually remain fall on the ground dead, or he will drop his head up to 5 to 10 seconds. But after that, he is totally okay. There will be no problem at all. There is one more seizure in a generalized that we should not actually leave. We should discuss. The seizure name is myoclonic seizure. Myoclonic seizure. So what is myoclonic seizure? So myoclonic seizure is such a type of seizure where there will be sudden shock-like movement of the body or half of the body. So there will be sudden, we can say the jerky movements, or there will be shock-like movements. So in this video, you can see the what kind of movement is that. You are watching that the female is actually spilling out her food from the bowel. So such type of movement can happen, that the person is doing everything okay, but suddenly his movement, he is having jerky movement in any part of the body or in all part of the body, and he is actually let's suppose he is actually grabbing or catching anything, then he will actually remove out from his hands. So that kind of movements are seen in the myoclonic seizure. So let's discuss a very famous seizure that is known as salam seizure. So this is only Hindi word that is used in the medical field, that is salam. So this salam is basically that similar to the salam that the Muslim or other person do, and in this video you will see that the female will do salam, the child will have the attack of salam. So there will be actually movement in hands, and there will be actually the movement of the torso. Torso means trunk. So there will be trunk movement and there will be hand movement. And another thing, this actually happens in usually occur after birth. That's why it is also known as infantile spasm. Usually, what is the cause of the salam seizure? So usually the cause are that the patient is having hypoxic injury during birth. So the patient during his birth or his or her birth is actually having any kind of hypoxic injury, or there is any kind of obstetric injury. So after that injury in the head, basically the patient developed the salam seizure. And after this video, I think the concept has been clear that there will be movement of the hand and there will be movement of the torso, that is trunk. Torso means trunk. In the ECG, a very peculiar feature is seen, that is known as hips arrhythmia. So what kind of waves are seen known as hips arrhythmia? So you can see in this picture that there is no any definite pattern of waves. So from the picture you can see there can be mu wave, there can be any wave. So there is no any particular pattern of the wave. That's why it is known as hips arrhythmia. So this arrhythmia is not the arrhythmia of the heart. This is arrhythmia of the brain. So there will be no any fixed pattern of the waves in the EEG. So there will be no any definite pattern of waves. And it is also called West syndrome. It is also salam seizure, is also known as the one name infantile spasm, Another name is West syndrome. West syndrome. Usually in the salam seizure the patient is infant, but not necessarily. In the video you saw that the patient was not infant, but the problem starts from the infant when he or she was an infant. So the patient is usually infant, and usually the muscle involved were trunk muscle and the muscles of hand. So those truncal muscles and hand movement of muscle are involved, and usually hand is having the jerky movement, and the trunk is usually flexed, and both looks like the salam, that the person is doing salam.